Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm going to be your host tonight, Sean Morris, but actually I'm going to be co-host to Jace because he's going to do most of the talking because, as you can see, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but mostly my voice has just decided to disappear tonight. So not a new voice at all, but powering through because there's too many good things to talk about, and I want to capitalize on quite a good opportunity we have to help out the show. So, Jace, what's going on tonight?
Oh, you bet. Welcome, everybody. So, as always, we're going to go through our last week in Legion. Then we're going to go through a few quick updates about the league. We're going to discuss the big news that AMG dropped. And then we got a fun little mix of roundtable and make it better combined in a new fun little segment. So, we'll see if you guys like it.
Yeah, should be good. We're gonna capitalize because we got a couple favors. One, we need you to help us out with tonight's episode, which people have already done on the Discord, but we want to have your voice in here as well. One, because you can help us out doing that, but two, we want to really hear from you guys, and I think it'll be a fun little take on Legion. So, we are. I'm just reading the chat here. Lots of chat about Andor. Some questions about Shatterpoint.
Yep.
We'll have a conversation about that. If you're expecting us to poo-poo and hard takes on Shatterpoint, it's not going to happen. One, we don't know enough about the game. Two, I think that our opinions need to be maybe tempered. But I did have one strong opinion about how I think it's being reacted to, and we'll get into that when we get in there. So let's slide over, Jace. Before we do all the things, we can do our last week in Legion, but I'm going to get you to save most of yours for when we talk about the battle, because you played, and I didn't play a game. So it's like the weakest last week in Legion that we can possibly preview here. But I would say, I will tell you this, that I've been watching games from the league, and that's super cool. So I have thoroughly enjoyed that component, and I'm glad to see I get to watch some people I've never seen play, which is cool. And then I just did a little blast to all the channels last night, and that poke was not to say get going with games. That was just a little check-in that I want to maintain in our community group that says, hey, how are you guys doing? How are games going? And then I had like 15 responses within 5 groups, all like, hey, I got 2 games planned this week, this weekend, this, that, which is great. So I'm going to have a game on Friday because we aren't having Friday night fights, so that's cool. So I'll have another one to talk about next week for sure. And if you can encourage other people to join the league, make sure you guys they'll know it'll happen right after the sort of Christmas break. Of course, we get the holiday special plan in there, and then we'll start the round 2 of the league, which will start the first round of bans, which may or may not, be before a points update. Who knows? Because we don't know when that's happening at all. So, did you do any building or anything, Jace? Or what was your hobby week last week?
All right, so if we're going general hobby, I didn't build any Legion, but I did do some building of some dwarves. I assembled a bunch of dwarfs. I painted a model, but he's not near me, so I can't grab him. But I painted Legolas to go with the Gimli that I showed off before.
Okay.
And I played a game of Middle Earth yesterday.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's with the same person you've been playing with, regular stand-in game. Yeah, we still got to get some games going too. You got to come over and teach me some more Lord of the Rings. So I'm undefeated.
Yeah, definitely. We'll find a weekend.
By the way, I'm undefeated against Jason.
Yeah, 1-0. 1-0.
1-0 is exactly it. So that's sometimes we don't get a lot of Legion, and I will say that I'm just gonna send myself a picture. So I forgot I was gonna do a little bragging today. So what's going on here?
Justice is waiting for me to finish painting my pikes. Justice, that's going to be a long time because I haven't even assembled my 3rd unit of pikes. I have assembled two units of pikes, 1 Black Sun, 1 Mando. I've got the other 2 from my starter box here. I got a upgrade box of each sitting in a box over there, along with 3 swoops that are still not even opened, not even out of shrink wrap yet. So it's going to be a bit.
This guy, eh? Holy smokes. So I didn't do any Legion last week. Like I said, I didn't play, but I'm always doing something for Legion. So I designed a new sticker for Friday Night Fights. So they will be here coming. I also build faster nerd. like I did receive some items, one being a battle force for the giveaway. I'll talk about that. I got my Din, I got my IG, and I got my special edition Grogu. So Ryan, you don't. Um, Gotta make sure we rub that in. I had a
Yeah.
good conversation with my friend, and Jason would know. I talked to Christian quite a bit yesterday. I had a little phone call. He's thinking about making the Adepticon trip, so that's cool. And then I was working on card sleeves, designing that. I did the overlays, did that. And what else did I do? Oh, and I've been working on some possible lists because I got a tournament on the 20th, and I'm gonna see what I want to bring for that. So I've been talking and planning and doing things Legion, but I didn't play any games. But on Friday, I am gonna be playing some Legion. So there's that. Jace, do me a favor. Can you grab, that photo that I shared in the group about that thing that I built for that company? Can you send that to me in
Oh,
Messenger?
yeah, you bet.
Because I can't seem to. Oh, you know what? I might be able to grab it off here. And then I was just going to do a little short, humble brag if you guys would be so inclined. Because it's always cool when I get to reveal things in the studio that I may or may not have done on times and couldn't reveal when I did them. But so you guys know I build terrain and I do things in the studio. And sometimes I build for gaming companies that aren't Legion related. So there's that. And this week I had a product actually come
Oh,
out. And
there you go.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that it's not my product. I made the product. It got made into a master mold, and it's now being produced for Battlefront. So that is the game. The company makes Flames of War. Jason, I have a long-standing connect to that game. Jason is still actively playing. I am not, but 15 mil has my heart for sure. And so these were they wanted a backyard addition to the buildings that they make. So again, these are very small scale, and so details are difficult to capture. Like Jace can attest, these are like 2 inches by 3 inches basically.
Yep.
And yeah, so I built all the little the details. They're mass produced now and out into the wild. So that was kind of a cool thing to see. I didn't know this was coming out because I built it a while ago, but it just gives you a sense of how long things take from build to production. But it's in a box. You can buy it on a shelf, which is cool. They're going to send me a box and I will have it here and I'll show you guys. So that's cool. So Jace may actually see these on a tabletop that he's competing on, somewhere in the globe, and that'll be kind of cool. He'd be like, hey, I know the guy that made that. So yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe even this weekend.
Yeah, who knows? Exactly. So anyway, just humble brag. There you go. That's some of the things that happen in the studio when we're not talking Legion. So, all right, Jace, why don't you hit us up with the social medias?
You bet. So, if you want to know where else to find us besides YouTube, check us out on Facebook at Star Wars Legion Friday Night Fights, Twitter and Instagram at Legion_FNF. Ben and Anthony take care of those. And as well, check on Patreon at the Terrain Studio. Lots of perks, lots of new perks coming out too. And of course, any level, I believe, gets you access to every terrain video on there.
Yep. So, the $2 level is you'll get access to the free videos. You'll get access to the additional posts. The $5 one gets you everything that ever happened and ever will happen. And then there's a $15 tier, which is typically on activating the perks. Although I will have some perks coming at the $5 level as well. And then that gets you access to me, and we can do video conferencing and consults on whatever builds you're doing or terrain projects or product advice, all those great things. Please don't hit me up tonight because it'll be difficult for me to tell you, but anytime after that, if you're on that tier, and you can also bank your hours. So if you want to cash them in later, you can certainly do that as well. On the topic of the perks, I have begun working on the 2023 card design. I'm going for a fairly simplistic one. It's not a full design just yet. I was talking to Jace that one of the recommendations or asks that we had was if we could do these as faction specific. So right now what I'm working on is a way to make one of these tabs actually color coded to our favorite Legion factions, and then bringing in some of the faction identity into the tab so that you can have some sort of customization, or if you wanted to, just have them as generic. So I am working on how to do that. I will bring you the updates. I wanted to just kind of bring you the progress, something I've been working on, tying in our design, tying in our look, our logos, and then making them tailored to the recommendations that you guys had. So look for that. Again, this will be a Patreon perk. It's the best way for us to get them out into the wilds. On the topic of that, here is the holographic sticker. I think the image is maybe not as cool as the sticker will be. They'll be here on the 28th. And I think they're roughly like 3 inches in size. And they will be ready, and I will ship these out to our patrons as well. So look for that perk information to come on the actual Patreon site. So go check that out. If you're looking for it, it's the Train Studio, patreon.com. Generally updates on there every month. Well, every month there is, as well as how-tos or progress videos. You can find out what's happening in the studio. And then, as I said, I have some additional non-giveaway Patreon perks. Can't say Patreon giveaways, but if you are a patron, maybe some stuff will end up in your mailbox. So if you sign up, make sure you include your mailing address. I will not send you any junk mail. I will not sell your address. I will not do any of that. It's just simply if you get randomly awarded something, I will know when to send it to you. And there's no better thing than getting random stuff in the mail, specifically if it's something that you're looking for. So, okay, Jace, why don't you tell people about our Friday night fights, where to find us?
You bet.
How to do all that
You
stuff.
bet. Yeah, so every Friday night we run Friday Night Fights, a live 800-point Legion game from the basement of the Terrain Studio. And last week we had a great game. We had some Rebels versus Empire, classic matchup, myself versus Anthony. I was trying out the exact same Rebel list I had played the previous one in episode 71, with trying out Dane and IG-11 and Rebel Double Bounty and seeing how that worked. And Anthony was playing the oppressive Blizzard Force with Op Vader, all the bikes, and heavy response teams. And he wiped the floor with my army. He killed IG very quickly, got some very good bike rolls, and I made some average saves, which unfortunately was not enough for a 5-wound model to stay on the table. However, Din and a unit of pike shooting did manage to kill Vader after he used 4 heals. If you want to figure out how he got 4 heals with only having 1 repair bot in his list, go watch the episode. But even with Vader being done, there was still too many bikes left, too many rapid response teams, and Din decided to blank out on 2 attacks in a row, which basically cost him the rest of the game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's episode 72, by the way. That's 71 was
70.
the first one. 71 was the first one. 72 was the rollback. They're interchangeable. It was literally the same list. So go watch both. I like how IG and Din sort of switched their roles, basically. One needed to die first, and then one needed to like carry the game for Jace, at least on Jace's side. So you guys should watch both, because I think that was quite cool. Different tables, by the way, so you won't watch the exact same game. But we learned that Blizzard Force is pretty good. So
yeah, Blizzard Force is real good.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, make him up in the future discussion in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So,
wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah, so go check out that. As mentioned last week, and I'll just give a reminder for folks, we're not here this week for Friday Night Fights. I'm going to play a game Friday. It's not going to be on Friday Night Fights. And then we're tentative for the end of the month. We're going to see if Big Jace wants to appear on there. So, okay, JC, you're going to do all the sponsors if you don't mind.
Oh, you bet I am. All right, so big shout outs to Deep Cut Studios. Every gaming mat that you see on our Friday Night Fights is provided by Deep Cut Studios. They make really good quality neoprene mats, so if you're looking for a new gaming surface, check them out.
Right.
Also, a big shout out to Legion Terrain. A lot of the terrain you see on our tables is provided by them. They provide 3D printed terrain as well as pre-painted 3D printed terrain. And of course, it is the month of deals, so there are special discounts for the whole month of November. So definitely go check them out. Pick up some pre-painted 3D terrain that you can take right out of the box and stick on the table.
Excellent. All right,
And
go ahead. Go ahead. You want to do this one?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And of course, big thank you to everyone on our support wall who has made a donation to the Friday Night Fights. Of course, we've got our list of donators of Bernard, Sean, JD, Stan, Graham, Tom, Richard, Jake Witt, Ryan. Oh, Ryan's on this list. Oh, didn't know he did that. Donnie, Aaron, and of course, your name could be here, as well as to all of our patrons listed there. And we do have a big thank you to our special donators from the last stream.
Yeah, Stan and Bernard there. Now, if you guys have been following us, you'll know we're on this trek to get some a couple PTZs or one PTZ, depending on which one we get, for the studio. So we're 26% of the way there, but I wanted to highlight this specifically, and this was one of the things that we were trying to capitalize on right now. And I wish I had more voice to tell you. So last episode, you guys know that we had an anonymous donator willing to match donations up to the 325 mark. Now, Bernard made a donation and Stan made a donation, and so we were able to get that matched. So we have $275 that's still on our match wall. The anonymous donator has agreed to run that through the the balance of that. So basically from now until the December 30th episode, which is fantastic. So that means every dollar you donate, if Jace donates 5, that means it gets doubled to 10. However, that anonymous donator, not to be overshadowed, and in fact, specific words were not to outdo, but I want to point this out. Stan Parks, very loyal viewer of the show, supporter, participant in the league, all those things, has also now agreed to match the first 275 as well. So what does that mean? That means that every donation that comes in now, Jace gives $5. Anonymous is going to give 5. Stan is going to give 5, up to a 275 limit. So we're now tripling donations amount, which is fantastic. Now that's going to run till the 30th or till the 275 gets matched, which is fantastic. What we want to do is the first 5 donators that come in, we're going to, from our studio, what we're going to do is we're going to give the first 5 donators, and it'll be numerical and it'll be on the I can give timestamps. They're going to get a Friday Night Fight sticker, as well as we are going to give them a full set of the patron exclusive card sleeves. So you're going to get a set of 12 and a sticker for the first 5 donators. And the reason we want to do this is because those folks are matching all those dollars. That's fantastic. We want to make sure that we get an extra perk for that. So it doesn't matter, whatever it is, that's what you're going to get. First 5, we'll take care of that. We'll let you guys know. If they come in on the show, I can let the people know that as well. Thank you to Stan. Thank you to Anonymous. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the donations, past, present, and future. We appreciate that. We hope that our perks are worthy, and we know that giving is not necessarily meant to be receiving back, but if we can, we do. And on the topic of that, Jace, I think we got a big show coming up. What do we got?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so December 30th, as we've been mentioning, we got our Christmas special coming up. And as you can see, this is already the list of giveaways we got coming up. So if you've noticed on here, there's 5 battle forces already, which puts us at like already almost $1,000 of giveaways. Let alone all the other stuff. There's some free Patreon levels, some custom activation tokens, some card sleeves from Back to Basics, Legion alt art cards from Dice Time. Phoenix Games is also doing giving a Din and Grogu and an IG box to specifically people who are on the donation wall.
It's anyone on the donation wall. Yep, till the 30th.
So not only if you donate now do you get your donation doubled or tripled actually,
yep.
And if you're one of the first 5, get card sleeves. You also get entered into a draw. So what a time to donate!
It's great. It's very good. And then don't forget we got 48th Ronin doing 3 custom paints, commander operative of your choice. Not only do you get the model, but you get the model painted and sent to you. Then Dragon's Den, Jace already mentioned, one of our 5 battle forces. I actually have that one in hand. It's just sitting over off camera. So that one is in hand, ready to go. That one is going to be, that is the box. The other ones will actually be choice for players. What I have been telling people is, if you know anyone who's new, invite them out to watch the show. What a great chance for somebody who wants to get into Legion to possibly have a chance to walk away with a box set. And now you might have a new player in your area who's got the biggest burden taken care of. An army, free army, to potentially start their sets. Or, maybe trade or whatever. But invite people out. what better way? Hey, I invited this guy out. He won a box set. That's fantastic. Build your community that way. If we can help out, we want to do that. So here, Jace, let's hit 3 more sponsors and get into the news.
You bet. So big thank you to Imperial Terrain. We also have a lot of Imperial Terrain that we use on our tables. They provide lots of quality 3D prints. I believe you can buy the physical and the STLs. I personally have lots of their STLs and print out a lot of their terrain. So always good quality 3D prints. And as well to Phoenix Games Australia. That is Bryant down there. As you notice, he's sponsored a bunch of stuff, including the exclusive donor stuff and Battle Force as well. So big thank you to him. And if you're in the Oceania area, look at getting to him, as well as look to Back to Basics. I believe Aaron's still been doing that that live stream.
Yeah, every Sunday. So it'll be late Saturday for us. About 10 o'clock for us, and so a little later on the East Coast, I guess. Obviously, he's out of Australia, so I think they've done 7 episodes now. They go for about 2-3 hours. People join in. You join into a Google call. You sit there and you do that. I have not been able to do it just because Saturdays the last couple weeks I've been doing football, and then when I get home I'm tired. But I actually plan to jump in this weekend just to get on there, get some face time. Well, if I can speak, otherwise I'll just wave my hands around and do some hobby stuff. So so check that out. I continue to share the link in our hobby section on the Discord. So go support Aaron. And if you want to check out Back to Basics, you'll not be disappointed. So awesome. I realized that I may have skipped. If people are looking to help us out in any way, just make sure you snapshot this or get a screenshot. It's the Train Studio 2019 at gmail.com. Make sure you guys leave us a little note in there. We always appreciate reading those items. So, okay, Jace, you're doing a great job tonight, buddy. Thank you.
You bet.
Next up, news from the streets. I'm going to have a couple AMG pieces here. We'll get into a little conversation. Then we're going to save the bulk of our show really for our pseudo Make It Better and roll that in together. And if we're only about an hour 15 tonight, you will, I think, forgive us. We will not shortchange you on the episode, but we want to make sure we can at least preserve some. I actually have parent-teacher interviews tomorrow night, so this will be fantastic. I can't wait for that to talk to folks. So
Sean is going to mime to the parents.
Yeah, I'll just do a. You guys know, hey, you guys know how good at shadow puppets I am, so I'll do that. For some reason, my Yeti mic's also turned on, which is crazy. Okay, let me jump over here. So we know the Shatterpoint announcement came out. Everyone has heard about Shatterpoint. Here's some pics of models. They're also seeking playtesters. AMG is making a game. Now, we know that the game, according to them, was in development 2.5 years ago. So that puts it outside of the Legion window, I think. So, which makes sense. This looks a lot like MCP. I don't want to say it's MCP Star Wars. A lot of people are already saying that. It looks like MCP. It's got similar feel. The models are definitely Star Wars. They're definitely Legion-esque. There's a lot of parallels, a lot of translations between them, but they're not the same. And we know this is not Legion scale. We don't know anything about the rule set. We don't know how it plays. We don't know how big it is. We don't know everything or really much at all. I wanted to draw this point, and then I'll let Jace sort of take it away and chat. You can chime in, and Jace can interact with you, but I want to be really, really clear about one thing that I've heard a lot of. First, I'll give my take. I do not believe for a second that Legion is going to get killed by Shatterpoint. And what I mean is they're going to parallel exist in the universe. There will be crossover in players. There will be purists, for sure. There may be some migration away from Legion into Shatterpoint. That happens, but that happens in any game. Doesn't have to be an AMG release to have somebody shift over. We get 40K players. We get X-Wing players. X-Wing probably gets Legion players. 40K probably gets Legion players. We have migration between gaming systems, and that's okay. I think new games are still cool to have. The one clarifying statement that I want to make that I think is false, and I don't think that we should be repeating it, is this, and this is what I hear. Legion is not impacted by Shatterpoint. I will tell you right now, unequivocally, it is. And here's why. Every Legion board, our Discord included, side conversations, private conversations, we're all having this conversation around Shatterpoint and Legion. it doesn't matter where you sit. It doesn't matter how impactful you think it is. To say that Legion is not impacted by Shatterpoint is not accurate. We wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't. The NHL game last night, we are not talking about in here. So I could probably unequivocally say that isn't impacting tonight's conversation. The fact that we're bringing this up, every podcast is bringing this up, YouTube channels, gaming companies, boards, people are getting banned over talking about this, and which I don't fully agree with, but I'm not going to get into that. But to say that it is not impacted by Shatterpoint release, I don't think is a fair statement. What I am saying is that I don't think it's crippled. I don't think it's devastated. I don't think it's killed by Shatterpoint. That's just what I wanted to share on that. All right, Jace, what do you got?
Yeah, well said. Definitely. Yeah, so Shatterpoint, new game. I mean, a lot of people already know how long these games take to develop. Like, they've had this game in the pipeline since way before they got Legion, maybe even before they even know they were getting Legion and X-Wing and Armada. It does look a lot like MCP, so they probably did start it around a similar time. I will say, like, some of the models do look pretty nice. I'm not the hugest fan of the scale. I know Sean isn't either, but
Not really, no.
yeah, I like their looks, but I don't really care about having that big of models on the table. As Sean was saying in our pre-show conversation, they look like action figures, right? Like, just because of the sizing and everything, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong for people who are looking forward to the game and looking to play it. I probably personally won't play it just because I'm expecting them to price it like MCP because the models are the same size as MCP, and I will not be able to afford a game that price of MCP.
Yeah,
But
I will say, and I don't want to be like, I don't like never ever and always statements because they're so hard to verify and easy to say, but I would say there's a limited chance that I'll be playing Shatterpoint. And I don't know anything about it. So it's not because I don't think the rules are going to be good. I don't think it's because I wouldn't like it. It's Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I like army-based games. I played
Agreed.
X-Wing. I liked X-Wing for the dogfighting, very low model count. I played a lot of two-ship builds. I was really a fan of that. And I appreciated that about that game. I came from 15 mil, and we played Jason. I played lots of armies, lots of tanks and full-size armies.
yeah,
Then I went to a small game, and then I liked Legion a lot because Legion got me back into army games. So I don't know how big the factions are going to be. I don't know how many models you're going to have. I'm going to assume that it might be smaller because it's single base.
yeah,
I don't really love the whole, as Jace pointed out, the sizing. There's a lot of real estate to do terrain, so you think that, wow, I should love this. I do love the fact that you have a lot of real estate, but I think the minis look a little bit odd on the base size for me.
the
It's
bases
just,
look too big.
yeah, and it's just it's a visual thing for me. The model are cool, the stances are cool. I would love to see some of these translated into Legion models. Like, I think when I'm looking at the Ahsoka here, that Ahsoka's
Yeah,
sharp. I really like that.
amazing.
When I'm looking at the Maul, cool. When I'm looking at the way they did
That Django.
the flight stands on here,
Yeah,
like with the smoke trails, that's how we should have Legion flight stands. So there's a lot that I love about this. I love that AMG is doing more Star Wars. I'm just hoping they channel all that hype for Shatterpoint, energy for Star Wars, and say, hey, this is great for Shatterpoint, but wouldn't this be amazing in Legion? Or for Shatterpoint future players, when you're doing things in Legion, they could say, wow, wouldn't this be fantastic in Shatterpoint? I'm cool with the games. Do I love that they went a different scale? Not particularly, but at this point, I'm past that because I don't think they're changing the scale, no matter how loud I am or other people are. So the two games can exist. It's not going to crush my game. Don't believe it for a second. I don't think it's going to migrate every player over there, and if it does, who cares? Because we'll be repopulating. Legion will be repopulating players. We'll be recycling players. They'll be leaving for other games. We'll be getting people in. The sky is not falling. I'm good with all of that. I don't think we'll be talking about a ton of Shatterpoint on here, just being honest. We may drop you some stuff in the AMG news like this, but this is not going to be Shatterpoint. Jace isn't playing. I don't think Anthony's going to be playing. I'm not going to be playing at this moment, and we're going to leave it at that. We're going to focus on Legion, stay on Legion. If you guys want to migrate, if you are going to be a Shadow Point future player, good luck to you. Well done. Enjoy that. If you want to stay with us, we appreciate that too. If you want to play both, awesome. We have no strong opinions about what people should do. AMG, keep making Star Wars things that are cool. If you do that, you'll have my loyalty for sure. I'll be buying your Legion stuff, so make sure you don't forget about us. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. It just comes down to personal preference with games, right? And like you said, I agree. I prefer the army games. I mean, when I first started war games, it was the choice between Bolt Action and Flames of War, and I chose Flames of War for the specific reason of I wanted to field lots of tanks, lots of infantry. I didn't want to field like 20 dudes and a single tank. I wanted to field 15 tanks and a whole bunch of infantry along with it as well.
Sorry, Jason, just glued in the fact that I didn't have you on the screen. Jace didn't even tell me that, so look how good of a host he is.
I didn't notice till we were in the show, and I was like, I don't want to bring it up yet.
That's all right. I gotcha.
I mean, all the other games I play, right? Like Middle Earth, you have 30 to 40 models usually on the table. Yep. Legion, you have 30 to 40 models on the table, right? Like I like having the number. I like having the models. I like having the toys to play with.
Right.
But again, some people don't. Some people like having just the 2, 3, 4 guys on the table, and that's completely okay as well, right? That's how you enjoy the hobby, and that's how, then this game's probably for you.
Yep, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. We'll coexist. We'll be all good.
Exactly.
Jumping over here real quick. Oh, Jace is already on this one. They did. AMG was supposed to have a live stream today. I don't know specifically. I think they said something about with the down X-wing. So I think there was illness. Go figure. I can appreciate that. But it looks like they're going to go tomorrow at 1, and I'm not sure if it's 1 CST. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's 1 PST. But anyways, live stream, according to Twitter, will be happening tomorrow. It was postponed today, not canceled. They didn't forget. It's just illness, and they had to push it back. So that's where we're at. Yep. Okay. Jace, want to hit our last couple, and then we'll jump into our actual part of our the main segment of the show today.
Of course. So, big shout out to Dice Time, our affiliated podcast. Ben and Paul over there, always doing great stuff. If you want to hear more on their thoughts on Shatterpoint, I believe they just did an episode on it as well. So, check them out. As well as check out Corvus Games Terrain, one of our newest sponsors. They are sending us a bunch of terrain right now, and it will be coming onto a Friday Night Fights table near you.
Yeah, January we'll have that featured, so look for that.
Perfect.
Okay, just want to give before we jump into everything else. Yeah, the mics. There we go. League 1 or round 1 of season 2. League is running right now. Don't forget, if you guys want to join into the league, you can at the next rollover. That'll be in December. Games are being played right now. Seemingly, people are having lots of fun, which is great. Lots of new players, which is fantastic. More and more people streaming their games, which is cool. Dash has been streaming games. Graham's been streaming games. People have been self-streaming, which is good. Striker's usually available. If you throw that in the streamer line, he can maybe pick some up. Stan, when he doesn't have 100 things going on, he's able to do some. So lots of people are willing. If you want to have your game streamed, let us know or let them know. Get it in there, and then usually what happens is there's a parallel stream. You can jump in, chat Legion with other people, which is great. Watch the games, help out new players. All good stuff happening there. So check that out on our Discord. Okay. Make it better, Jace. So
yeah, you bet.
Jace, why don't you tell people how the usual Make It Better is happening, and then I'll kind of lay the groundwork for tonight.
Yeah, so usually what we do is we will take a list submitted by a viewer or someone on the Discord or anybody, and we'll take your list and me and Sean will critique it, we'll go through it, and we will try to make it better. We'll give you some of our opinions on upgrades or swapping out some units or swapping out command cards or your objective deck, and just all around, what could make this list slightly better.
All right, so tonight what we're going to do, small incentive. We're going to do 3 random giveaways. So if you call in tonight, will be randomly entered, and we're going to send you one of our brand new holographic Friday Night Fight stickers when they come in. They're cool. They're expensive to get produced, by the way, but we're going to send you one free. So we'll pick 3 random people tonight. So hopefully we get a few people in there, and we will send you that sticker. They're coming in on the 28th, by the way, so just so you know, we'll send them out as soon as we have them. So this is going to be a call-in segment for the show, and this is how it's going to work. We're going to take a caller or two per unit that we're going to have come up on the screen. So let's me just say, for example, I'm going to pick one. We're not going to start here, but we bring up heavy response units. The conversation is going to be this: how are we going to make this better? Are we going to up the points? Are we going to change some configuration? Are we going to subtract or add keywords? What does it need to do to make it different or better? There's two options as well when we're finished. Our options are going to be that we need to change so much that we're going to nerf it, or we actually feel it's okay where it is. And what we're going to do is Jason and I are going to alternate based on what information you bring. So make a good argument, pose your case. And when you do that, Jace is going to be the ruler, and he's going to decide if ultimately we need to do a nerf or we need to do a check. And then chat, if you didn't call in, you can agree or disagree by typing agree, disagree in there. Like I said, we're going to do random giveaways for people who are willing to contribute to our call-in show. So we have a list and we have an order that we're going to go in. So let me kill that. Let me get the call-in button up so you guys can do that. And we'll go through. We have, I think, 9 units to go through, 8 units to go through. And we'll get through them. And hopefully you guys are willing to help us out. Like I said, that was our favorite task tonight. So, all right. Here is the link. First unit, if you are so brave and have a strong opinion, is Magna Guards. So come on in. Let us know about Magna Guards. What's your opinion? Tell us what they need to change, what they need to stay the same. Are they good? Make your case. Plead your case. We'll judge. Chat will judge. And we'll maybe make some suggestions that, who knows, we may see in the future.
Bernard, call in.
Bernard hates them. Strong opinions from Bernard. So, Jace, while we're hopefully waiting for someone to call in and give a strong opinion about this one, maybe we'll have somebody on all these. Why don't you give your opinions on Magna Guard? Where are they at right now for you?
Ooh. Magna Guard are really good. I still think they're slightly fine-tuned. They shut down force users. They shut down a lot of things that a lot of armies want to do. They shut down suppression. They've got a decent enough shot, and they're just fairly cheap for what they give you.
Right. So, Magna Guard, I'm just punching in on the calculator. So Magna Guard with a heavy, with the rocket, typically.
Yes.
100 points. So let's talk about base level right now. 100 points for the unit. Is that overcosted, undercosted? You can do so I'm just going to Striker. When you're talking about the unit, wherever you want to go with it, you can talk about specific keywords that it might have. You can talk about its typical loadouts. You can say with this it's overtuned, with that it's overtuned. You can talk about the heavies, all the things that you want to talk about. We'll talk about Magna Guards wherever you want that to go. So 100 points for a Magna Guard with a rocket, overcosted, undercosted. I think 100-point unit, that's a unit, not a character, feels like it's an okay cost. I know that Magna Guards are super efficient. They're almost self-generating token machines. Their AI doesn't hurt them that bad, and I think that's what also helps them. The unhindered makes them great, but they don't have scale. I think if they had scale, they'd be overtuned.
Way overtuned with scale.
I think where a lot of people, Justice, Justice, get your phone and mic ready, my friend. There's going to be lots for you to call in about. Don't be shy, folks. Oh, yeah. And so I think with the unit and the rocket combination, I think that's where people start to feel like they're a little overtuned. I will also say this. CIS suffer against force users and suffer against melee. The bulk of their army suffers. So you need to bring a 100-point unit to combat that. It's 100 points where 2 core units for the price of them. So you're replacing 2 activations with 1 activation. And the activation has a little bit more staying power. but at 100 points, I don't know what else you want to do to them. Like,
Yeah.
I think other rockets should follow the model of the Magna Guard, as opposed to the Magna
Exactly.
Guard rocket following the prototype of the additional rockets. And I think that, again, I think other units not being as good as Magna Guard make Magna Guard seem better than they are for the cost they are. That's where my opinion lands out.
Yep. I think that they need a slight nerf, and it's not to points, and it's not to like any of their like weapons or their profile or anything. I think the nerf needs to be in the RRG that, or just changes that their retinue only works on named commanders.
Agreed. Agreed. Love that. Love that.
That's it. That's the only change I think they need. Because the only problem that people have with them is you make a B1 unit a commander, and all of a sudden you got an 8-man B1 unit with an insane range handing out free tokens to 3 Magna Guards.
Agreed. Agreed. No disagreement there. Okay, so people are shy. They're going to warm up. I'm confident in it. Otherwise, I'm just giving Jace all the holographic stickers. So Jace,
Yes.
you get to, since I was really the only one to make an argument, your judge tonight. Are we nerfing
Yep.
it? And a nerf can be like, it can be like a soft hit with a nerf bat, or it can be an absolute nerf bomb. Shouldn't say bomb, probably on YouTube. Explosion. Maybe explosion's bad. You know what I mean. One degree of
Yep.
nerf to another degree of nerf. What?
We're gonna slow nerf. We're changing that keyword.
Okay, it's gonna go nerf. All right, nerf it is. Okay. Because I need people to get into this, I'm gonna go maybe a little bit more spicy choice.
Oh yeah.
Pikes.
Whoo!
Okay.
All right, where's the callers?
Here we go. Oh, who's calling in here? We got Justice calling in. Maybe he's on Pikes.
Yes.
Justice might as well
There
stay
we
in
go.
for like 16 of these choices of 8.
Yeah,
All
right.
right, let me do this. Someone's gonna be on Echo right now. There we go. Let me drop Justice.
Hello?
Hello, you're here.
Hello?
Just let me get you on the screen.
Okay.
Boom.
Well, at least you can hear me.
We got you. We got you.
There we go.
All right, Justice, you're up.
He's here for the pikes.
All right,
Enlighten me.
All right, the pikes. The pikes are really hard just because they can go into every faction, but every faction works with them differently.
Okay.
I do think they need a nerf, but the problem is, how are they going to give them a point score based on what they do in each faction? So CIS kind of struggles with them, depending on obviously lists, but CIS kind of struggles with where they place pikes more than most other factions. GAR, the only reason pikes work so well with them is because a lot of other characters are able to support them very well with the token sharing. So that's helping keep GAR and their head above the water. And I mean, pikes work well in Rebels and Empire, but not as well. But I mean, if you look at some of the lists that are just taking entire Shadow Collective, a lot of people are just taking Maul, 2 capos, and 6 pikes. And they're crushing with that.
Yeah. Which
Means pikes are very undercosted. I think pikes need to go up in points. I like their profile. I like what they do. And obviously they have a reason for having all the keywords they have. But they definitely need to go up in points. And not just them, but the capo. The capo does so much for a commanding unit. And if you compare it to a lot of the other cheap commanders that other factions get, he does a lot more. That's personal opinion, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right, let me hit you with this. I'm not sure where the echo is coming. So maybe I'm only hearing, but if I go 46 on pikes, and I go. Hold on a second here. 46 on pikes, and I go the capo to 19. Opinion.
46 on pikes. I. Mm, it feels a little high. Just because stormtroopers are at
It's gonna be
44.
it's gonna be
and
9 more points for that typical build.
Yeah.
How many keywords does stormtroopers have?
Yeah.
Just steady, right? Without heavy weapons, yeah, just steady.
They're not steady, they precise.
Or precise, that's it. Sorry, I'm thinking snowtroopers.
The snows get steady, but no precise.
Yeah, no precise. Yeah. Now regular storms get okay. Honestly, it doesn't feel that bad for 46 for a pikes, just because they survive so well. I think someone brought it up earlier in the chat how vigilance also needs points increased because it's taken so often.
Yeah, I'd like to see it at
Which
8 points.
Yeah, 8 points sounds good because it's 5 right now, right?
Yep. Every command slot I have, vigilance.
Yeah, yep. It's too cheap. It's so good on any force user unit. It's so good on pikes. I mean,
Okay.
in my list right now in the league, I'm running 2 slots of vigilance.
And you're running pikes.
And I'm running 3 pikes, yeah.
Fire support pikes is pretty nasty.
It's gross. It's not good enough to kill buses, but
No, it's not.
I base that off my rolls more than its capability.
or my rolls.
Yeah.
Sean, are you rolling like Anthony's white defense dice of just triple blocks every time?
Well, 1 at a time, but they add up to 3, so yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So Justice, your first caller. So bonus to you, you get a holographic sticker. Jace, based on what he said,
Sweet.
what are we ruling this? Nerf it or check it?
Oh, they need a nerf.
It's done. All right, man. I appreciate the call and thank you.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
See ya.
Okay, Jace. We have next up. Let's go. Oh, here's a good one. Let's go heavy response units.
Oh, heavy response units. All right, who's talking about these? Where's Anthony when we need him?
Yeah, seriously, eh? All right, so heavy
Anthony-
response units. Let's lay the groundwork on this right now. So
Yes.
auto
So
include
heavy response.
Blizzard Force
Yeah, so-
every time.
Yeah, so it can only be taken in Blizzard Force. You can take max of 2 of them. It's 30 points base for 3 dudes, and you have to take 2 heavy upgrades, but 30 points is already less points per dude than the normal unit is.
Yep.
Normal build is the DLT and the RTC for the range 4, and your total unit is 74 points. You throw 3 red, 3 white with impact 1, all at range 4. You get to range 3, you throw 3 red, 6 white. You get precise 1 still, but you also get unhindered, which is insane. There he is. Tell us about heavy response units.
Bernard, how good are they?
Can you hear me?
We got you. Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead, Bernard.
Yep, we got you.
Okay. I'm going to say I love this unit. It actually made Storms really worth it again. I honestly wish I could add this to almost any Imperial force, not just Blizzard, because it just ups the value. And again, I mean, I saw you lose against Blizzard Force, and I mean, it's a powerful force, but I think this is, to me, one of the things that I like about Legion is that, again, it's playing with it, but, and I'll go into the Pikes issue, is that it's a new unit, it's so powerful, why would you take an older unit? It's only now with the heavy response, it's worth taking Storms again. So, and it's one, I mean, to me, it's like, again, when the game was, you played Star Wars, but you didn't take Vader because he wasn't worth taking. I mean, to me, Pikes, okay, it's great for people who've watched, but to get in new players, I think it's probably not the best. It's great for the experienced players. I think they're, as I said, if it wasn't for the storms to sort of counter them, I mean, if I could add the, not the standby, it's the one where they can do the overwatch, because then they can do the suppressive at range to give them like a range 3 or 4. I mean, I think that would be, like really good. But it gives them sort of the suppressive, like they're the unit that stays in the back, gives covering fire, while the other stormtrooper units can move forward and do their attacking. So that's sort of how I would like to see them used, and I mean it's how I'm trying to use them in like the Blizzard Force, as that they're sort of my back support unit. I mean, I think to me that's the one keyword they could use that would make them perfect, to give them that, so they have that range to easily, just fire off and give, like, if you load up on dice, can suppress any unit from range.
Well,
so
debark for ground assault, pin down,
Yeah.
and the
but I keep them in the back because
and
they're only
unrelenting
4
fire.
man.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. Though, if they were able to take the Overwatch keyword, you could have range 3 standbys being triggered off any one of those cards. Put all your tokens back. Take all the suppression tokens. And by the way, you can't remove any of those. That unit is already devastating enough. I don't need that thing hitting me all the time from range 3. Like, that is insane. And unhindered is the secret keyword.
Unhindered is insane on this unit.
That unit, unreal. And that, as well, coupled with the debark for ground assault to give them spur, insane. Speed 3, HRU units, shooting at range 4, double tapping, range 3 with the bulk of it. Game over. Bernard, why are you trying to make friends like that?
I was never trying to make friends in the first place. So.
There we go. There.
Yeah, you and the legend both. Yeah, not trying to make friends.
I mean, as I said, I just like to see the older unit coming back. I mean, like that.
Yes.
And again, I mean, to me, it's one of those things that is I think it was sort of almost a response to, as I said, like, as I said, Empire was sort of lacking, or it seemed that everyone else was getting stuff, but like all the units in the core had really sort of, well, what's the newest item? So you add stuff, and as I said, Pikes are. I mean, I think Pikes are just undercosted. I mean, sure. But why would you take anything else except using Pikes as your core?
Yep.
When there's no restriction on it, and everyone, Imperial Commander, and I got Pikes. I'm leading a force of Pikes, and I'll have the capo and all this stuff. I'm like, just weird. So
AMG went down
again.
that
I mean,
lane and said,
I'm gonna say I don't play them, so it's like that. I just find them like and I've seen again in combat, they're very difficult to do anything to. So I mean,
AMG handed out all the helpings of help, right? They went, CIS, you get a scoop of goodness. Rebels, you get a scoop of goodness. Empire, 3 scoops of goodness. Clones, you have no goodness on your plate. Matter of fact, they just flipped their tray over. Nothing for you, clones. Back to your core. But Empire got too many good helpings. So I don't know
Empire
where
got a
we're
lot
gonna
of good
go.
helpings.
I don't know where we're going to go with the ban, or are they good enough? I think, for what Bernard said, it's good that they're in this place. But are they too good?
I mean, you're limited to 2, so you're not going to have.
Thank
much
goodness.
More.
Thank goodness.
And they're small units. They're like if you actually want to go and kill them.
That is the thing. You can focus fire them.
Yep.
They've got nothing to. Every hit is going to hurt real quick.
And suppression does hurt them still. They don't have suppression mitigation, so.
I mean, I'm going to say they're like a glass cannon. I mean, it's there, but they can be easily shattered.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, there's only 2. You can have like as many Pikes as you want. So as I said, it helps the Empire. It's good that they're there. I do appreciate it. It makes me pull out the well, I've always played the Empire, so it makes me really want to now go back to Storms and just throw them in. So I like that. But again, 2 4-man units.
Yep.
That's not much. It's like, I mean, so and again, as I said, I mean, I think that they do have the role. Yeah, I mean, I use them differently, and again, it's play style. I mean, again, it's like I like to keep them back as support and use the other stuff. I mean, it might not work, but it does sort of give me the range to do other stuff with my army, because they're my, instead of having a vehicle or something that's sitting back providing covering fire, this is the unit I'm going to use for it. And I appreciate that I can use this unit to do it, because again, as I said, it just sort of, it frees up and allows me to sort of like bulk up on the commanders and that. I do find for Empire, you're either playing a non-force unit, a non-force use, or and then you're either taking Vader or Vader and the Emperor, and that's already a points thing. So, and again, I mean, the Empire does need another force user, but that's that's just another story. So
I need some
again,
Inquisitors.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, just anything else, and it would help, because again, I think that's sort of, and this is where I think that the Empire is just a little. It's not there as a great fighting force. It's a decent one, but it still has a couple of weaknesses, and as I said, this makes up some of the deficiencies.
Yeah, I do like how the battle force is a way to buy into the game, and you're buying into the game in a good spot right now. You're not like buying that starter set, and then they're like, but you need this. You're buying it,
I mean,
and it's good.
So and yeah, that's as I said. It's but I mean the game. As I said, I mean, snowtroopers are like a great unit. I mean, they're slow and they can get it done. But again, I like to have the variety with, and again, they add the storms with giving them that sort of the long range support. And again, that's my play style. So I'm gonna, and again, that I think that also factors into any decision you're gonna get from anybody, their individual play style.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Agreed. Okay, well, Bernard, you called in. You get a holographic sticker. Congratulations. I'm just giving them out to the callers tonight. I'm not doing the random. You get one. Now,
cool.
the legend's about to rule on your argument.
You bet. So,
Jace.
Down, man. Don't let me down.
HRUs, they are very fragile, I'll give you that, but they do hit very hard at range 4. I do believe they need a slight nerf, and all I think it is unhindered is fine, but I think if they're going to be unhindered, make them speed 1. Whole point of a heavy response unit is they're slow, methodical, giving that cover supporting fire you're saying, right? Make them speed 1 storms, but let them have the 2 heavy weapons and all the range 4 dice.
Okay.
But moving speed 2 and hitting me from range 5, nah, too much. Not a sniper team.
Okay, so we're gonna soft tap Bernard with the Nerf bat.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
We're gonna reduce his speed, and that's it.
All right. Thanks very much, Bernard, for calling in.
All right.
Appreciate that. Cheers. Okay, Jace, you're gonna have to do some more talking, buddy. What's up next? Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites on the list. AA5 speeder truck.
All right. We got any calls for the AA5 speeder truck? Anyone who played Sean this round got any opinions?
It's good. It's good. I have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, and this is any AA5 speeder truck, so
Yeah,
Rebels
any build out,
or
loadout.
Yep.
Popular upgrades.
Build,
Weapons,
loadout, Shadow Collective, Rebel truck, whatever you want to talk about the truck.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, yep. Justice is on his way to
come back. Yeah, we'll try
Yep.
to fix the
Come-
echo. I think it was playing through your speakers was the echo, but yeah, you're welcome.
Yep.
Call back.
Yeah, come complain about Sean and his games.
AA5s are good, man.
AA5s are.
I'll tell you. I think base cost, they're too low. Upgrades,
Yeah.
I think are reasonable. Tactician got hit hard.
Yeah.
For cost, still good. The quad's expensive.
The quad is very expensive.
The
but
16-point gun, I think, actually is okay. Quad could come down a bit.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm actually okay with the quad at 28 points.
Frenzy Gunner's a steal at 5.
Yes, Frenzied Gunner. If
can
the
see that.
quad went down, I'd want Frenzied Gunner to go
up.
But I'm
Frenzy
also
Gunner
okay
on-
with
Frenzy
with
Gunner
both
on
of
the
them staying where they
16-point
are.
gun is also awesome.
Yes, Frenzy Gunner is very good on that gun.
Yeah. So there's that. I think for the speeder truck. Again, still in the NERF category for me. I play it, but we talk about these because we're not going to say, I like Magna, don't do anything to them. I hate pikes, nerf them. It's not that. It's the speeder truck is, I think, too low base cost for what you get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's it at right now? It's like
75.
Yeah,
75 base.
75, yeah. And
Sorry, 85 base.
And you're about like 105, 115, and if you kit it with a gun, you're kind of in that 140-ish category, which again is
No,
like,
it is 75. I didn't upgrade attached.
Okay.
It is 75.
So you're still in that category of like airspeeder-ish when it's like kitted out, but it's so versatile. The ability to
airspeeder's 130
with
naked.
like, naked, yeah, but when you add, you don't add a lot to the airspeeder is what I'm getting at.
No, you add probably a hotshot pilot, and
Yeah.
you take a free harpoon.
Right. So
And if you're feeling frisky, you'll take a link targeting array to go 138 or 143.
So I'll give you my bus in the one of my buses in the league. I'll price it out for you right now.
Yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
Are you
So
doing
my-
the
my bus-
frenzy gunner?
Yeah, my bus in the league, frenzy gunner, with a medic, with a tactician, with the quad, is 136 points.
Yeah.
It's a 7 dice attack, typically 7 black. It heals once a turn. It gives out up to 3 aims a turn. And that's what it does for 136 points. And keeps my Black
Yep.
Suns inside, protected behind 8 points of armor.
Yep.
My
Yeah,
other bus gives demoralize to all my units that are vehicles, has a medic, has a tactician, does not have a gun, and I can do all that for 113 points.
Yeah.
Oh, we got 2 calling in. All right, 1 second. We got Justice in. Justice, I think we may still be playing through your speakers, my friend. Or some echo on your end.
Is there still echo?
A little bit.
Man. I'm gonna reset my headset real quick.
All right, we got Striker in too. All right.
There we go.
You know what? We got a little bit of
Any
echo. It's fine. It'll be a 40-second segment. We'll live. All right, go ahead. Give it to us. What do we got?
A5s are way too strong.
So what
Yeah.
you're saying is, just put a check mark and move on.
Yep. They need nerfed. They need nerfed.
Okay. Tell us why.
They're just in both, in Rebels and in Shadow Collective. They hurt. Anytime I see them, I'm like, oh, they've got a mobile line of sight blocker that's really hard to see past, or mobile heavy cover that can just move everything I've got. Even without a gun, they're strong.
Okay. What are you changing? What are you doing to them?
Yeah, I agree with you. The base cost needs to go up. I don't think it's the attachments as much. I think the base cost is way too low.
Suggestion. Where are we gonna go ballpark?
They're at 75 right now, I think, right? So
Yes.
I'd say they need to go up to 85 or 90.
To put it into perspective, a naked land speeder base is 60. So it's 15 more than a land speeder with
Yeah.
no upgrades.
Okay.
I'm
check
still
mark
saying
again.
85, 90.
Okay. Check mark again.
Okay. Yep. Hit it with that Nerf gun.
All right. So Striker, I'm just gonna pause you. I'm just gonna mute you, Justice, so you can hear us. Just nod it through. Go ahead, Striker. What do you got?
I do think their base cost needs to go up, just because watching your games, watching Black Suns jump out and re-roll every die that they have available to them is really good.
We didn't put Black
and
Suns on
then-
this list because we can't talk about Black Suns.
And then the other side would be like for Rebels. Every time I've gone up against them, it's well, here's a bus full of Wookiees that you couldn't deal with until they're already in your face, and there's nothing I can do about it other than hopefully maybe blow up the bus.
Hey, I also do that to people.
Exactly. And then looking at other like transports in the game and things like that. Like at 75 points for what you get for how much line of sight it can block and everything like that, like it just makes all of the other ones look very, very bad in comparison. Like, I mean, the Gav tank isn't that good to start with, but the price point of just the bus with no upgrades is better than the Gav tank by itself, just to deliver that huge amount of stuff with very little risk to anything that's inside.
Okay.
Yeah, 140 for the Gav tank feels bad.
Justice suggested 90. What do you feel about that?
I feel like 90 is pretty good. I do think the Frenzy Gunner might need to come up at least a little bit, but the Frenzy Gunner also does give you a reason to take the 16-point gun, because I've never seen any list with that gun taken with the quad laser available, but I have seen more of them pop up now because you can add the Frenzy Gunner, get 4 dice with critical at range 4. It becomes a little bit stronger, and points roughly stay about the same, or it gives you a little bit of a cheaper option.
So the reason I like the Frenzy Gunner on my quad is because I'm burying my bus, and my bus is staying there for the medic. And so if I can get 7 dice off on that, sit in my range 3 bubble, which is great, feed my Black Suns that protection. Black Suns protect one side, gun shoots on the rest. Now it's like, who am I shooting? Now my bus has alleviated pressure. Oh, by the way, here comes 3 swoop bikes. That bus lives and dies right in the middle and literally will shoot until it dies. So I love the gunner on there, especially against Justice when it rolled Surge 3 times and had a red dice, which is great. But I think that Frenzy Gunner on that quad is amazing. But too cheap to sit on that quad. So if it was 7 points, now my 16-point gun is like 23. Now my quad's sitting at like 32-ish. Like it's quite a bit of points to go into that weapon now. But still good for 7 black on average.
Yeah.
Justice, what are you thinking? What else do we need to do to it? What are you thinking? What else do we need to do to it?
I mean, you say 7 black. I'm used to 6 black and a red.
I mean, fair. It's pretty average.
So
It was half the game. It was half the game.
Yeah, it was a lot. Nah, I don't know. The gunner, I don't want to overly nerf something. If something gets overly nerfed, it can become real bad real quick, and no one will touch it. I still want it to be usable. I just don't want it to be the cornerstone of lists.
Yeah.
Which, for some lists, you take 2, and then you run everything behind it, and you're good to go. And I think that's kind of the problem right now.
Yeah. We used to pay points for Wedge before he had Field Commander, so just saying.
Yeah, things can change. The game changes.
Yep.
Yeah, things can change.
Yeah.
Okay.
It changes.
Yep.
Jace, you get to rule. Remember, if you want to come back next week, what to do. You get to rule.
It needs a nerf. It needs a points increase.
Okay.
It needs a nerf.
All right, we got it.
It needs a points increase.
So, Striker, you get a holographic sticker. Justice, you're already getting one. Striker, you get a holographic sticker. Justice, you're already getting one. I love the echo because I can hear my terrible voice back, which is fantastic. This is the best episode ever. Okay, guys, thanks. We'll hit another thing on there. Feel free to call back in. We love it. Okay, guys, thanks. We'll hit another thing on there. Feel free to call back in. We love it. All right, Jace. Let's go. Let's go here. Spiders. I don't think if we had this conversation 2 months ago, unequivocally, it's a no-brainer. I don't think there's a knee-jerk reaction like we would have had before. But you give us your case.
I still feel I'm going to fact check this first though. Spider and I still feel like the ion gun should be more than 10 points, but I mean it's not that bad. It just feels 65 seems a little cheap.
65 for it. Yeah.
65. Oh, I guess. Sorry, that's 65 without your
Put
protocols.
the protocols on. Yeah.
So 68, and then you take
LTA.
8 LTA, so 73.
And see, I run it typically. I've been running them lately with engagement because I know people think that like precise 2 is great, the rerolls. However, I feel more times than not it's excessive on the reroll, and the
Yeah.
ability to move when you don't have the weapon up and not have to force the recover action is better. So
Yeah, that is fair.
so I agree with you. Ion is too cheap at 10. I think they should have just went 15 across the board.
Yeah.
Make it even.
I think so too.
Then you're adding
But
engagement at 5. Say Ion's 15. Now you're at
Yeah.
70. You had LTA. There's 75 points. If the bus is 75 base,
Yep.
Spider.
I mean,
75
Staps
feels
are
okay.
75.
Yeah.
Staps are 75 base. Droidicas are 75 base.
Droidicas
So-
need to be at what spiders are base. I think Droidicas
Yes.
could go to like 50. What are they? 70?
Droidicas are 75 base.
I think they need to be 55, and I know that's
Yep.
huge. But
Yep,
without
I
Surge,
think so too.
55. Put them at 55, and make me make a choice to take them in that category.
Exactly. Staps are objectively better, and they're the same price point with the exact same upgrade slot and the same number of bases. Droidicas have shields, but they have the same number of wounds, and Droidicas have a slightly better save.
Yep.
But they don't get all the dodge tokens.
Right. Canadian Bear pointing out they started at 100. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I took them at 100 because
Yep,
there was
me
no
too.
competition in that slot. I won't even touch them at 75.
Yeah. I do it just for a meme game, and then I remember I have to play Anthony, so I just don't burn him.
Yeah. But that's a slight tweak.
Yeah.
Because
But even if nothing happens to spiders, I think they're still in a spot now where it's like they aren't the worst thing out there. They're fine.
I think I would, and I like spiders, and I'm not taking spiders lately. Like I haven't been playing them for a bit. But I actually, and I don't want to influence, but I think a check mark. I could live with that and be okay with that choice.
Agreed.
Chat, you can tell us we're wrong. Looks good to get some green up there. Okay, we got three more. We're doing well in this episode. We're going to be under our time, but we've got it a little longer than I thought. My voice is still there, and I apologize to even have an episode like this, but the fact that we have backers that want to support us, I didn't want to miss an episode, and I wanted to get some giveaways out. That's what I wanted to do. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. This might be a controversial one. Let's go clone core units.
Yep. Phase 1's phase 2's.
Yeah.
Cool. Where's the buff button?
Remember, we stole the clones' lunch money. That's what chat told us.
Yeah. I mean,
Let us know.
okay,
guys.
so let's take a look. Clone core base cost. Phase 1's 52, phase 2's 62. Let's go to Empire. Empire.
Put a heavy response
Storms.
unit in. Get a heavy response unit to the 9s and tell me what the points are.
All right, so heavy response unit fully packed out with the RTC and the DLT is 74. So 74 points for a heavy response unit. Phase
Compared to
1.
62 points for phase 2s.
Yeah, 62 base for phase 2s.
Yep.
Phase 1s are 75 with if you take a Z6. So phase
one-
1s are all
Yeah.
phase 1s are already 1 point more. Phase 2s, if you want to slap the cheapest heavy weapon on them, are 89. 50 more points for a unit of phase 2s than a heavy response unit.
With fire support keyword, which is technically a buff to another unit, and reliable 1.
Yep. So you get a surge. You can spend a token from a unit one time each attack or defense, which is not nearly as good as it used to be. You don't have any cheap activations anymore because everything got bumped up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your cheapest activation because is your phase 1s at 52 because your strike teams are more than your phase 1s.
Yep.
And your strike teams aren't even that good anymore because their guns aren't reliable enough.
Oh, we got a caller. Somebody's going to tell us how to do this. Oh, Striker's going to come in and help us out here. All right, he's in.
Yep.
Golden. All right, help us out.
Yeah.
Tell us why they
I
need a
think
nerf.
They need a points drop, either the base cost or their upgrades. Which one of the two is it? Well, both of them. Echo and Fives only being 2 or 4 points less than a base unit of Stormtroopers is brutal. You have an entire activation worth of another faction just to get 1 upgrade. And that's really, really rough. All of their upgrades are a bit too expensive. The problem you run into is fire support is extremely good. It can
But it's not as good anymore when you can't spend 4 aims on it.
True, very true. But when you can put like 2 rockets into something and tear half of a bus in half with it, you run into it. Doesn't matter if you can't reroll 11 dice. It more is stacking your keywords for the attacks.
Yes, stacking the keywords like that is nasty. But if we are going to do that shot, that's going to be 146 points of our list in that one shot.
Very true.
Which is still a fair amount of points for 2 core units.
But
because that's
on
a
average,
fifth of your list.
On average, a heavy response unit's going to hit you and likely gut half of this unit on average saves for less points.
Yeah, and the other thing too is a heavy response unit shooting you at range 4 also has impact 2. So you can shoot 2 heavy response units instead of the fire supported rocket launcher and throw more dice at range 4 and still have impact 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Blizzard Force army is gross because it has impact 4 and then it has impact 8 in the bikes.
Yeah, that's the gross part about Blizzard Force is all the just impact 1 on everything. They just plink armor to death.
Yep. And put Veers in there if you wanted to. And then take maximum firepower. Just absolutely gross, devastating. And then you can take overwhelming barrage.
Yep. Yeah, that overwhelming barrage. I mean, everyone go back and watch that last Friday Night Fights, but that command card is brutal.
The blast beam 8 black total.
And suppressive.
It is. Who cares about that? Because if it just wipes you, who cares? Your strike team doesn't care when it's on the sideline. You can stack 100 suppression on it when it's dead. Yeah.
Yep. Fair.
Graham, what do you got for us? Tell Striker how wrong he is. We got to nerf the heck out of these guys.
Well, I have got a new microphone, so I don't know how loud I am.
No, you're good. That is, you're actually louder than you ever have been.
Okay.
Stop yelling. Stop yelling.
But I think you could probably do at least one little like change as far as like phase 2s go, and just in general would be. It's like another change to token sharing, but making it where it's still 1 aim or dodge plus 1 suppression, or not 1 suppression, 1 surge token. So you're still limiting it to 1, maybe 2 tokens per defense or attack. But it would also be kind of interesting in playing more into, like, if you don't want to really give a points cut to them or at all, but just improving their keywords. So, like, you could make essentially phase 1s practically short troopers and give them target 1. And you could also give phase 2 something like agile 1, because that was the whole point of them getting the new armor, so they could move better anyways. So that way they're not wasting, you're not as hurt by your core's primary function of not getting to do anything and just getting to sit there and add their dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the question, Sean. If you had to take a unit of 4 bodies, would you rather take a unit of 4 shore troopers or a unit of 4 phase 1s?
Am I taking the mortar?
No. Just you can take a. You can take. Yeah, just the base unit of 4 guys.
I think you got to take the core unit in clones because you have to save the points for the rest. I think Empire doesn't necessarily have to go with the cheapest core. And can
The
still
point
get
I'm
good
getting
units.
is that's Empire's most expensive core.
Yeah,
It's the same points cost base. It's the same base points cost.
and I think you still have to go the cheapest option in clones, and that's only because you need to preserve points and axe. For the rest, Empire I think can get away with it, even
Yes.
taking some expensive core.
Yeah. Now that T-21B on the shore troopers is insanely costed, Brent.
Agreed.
But it is 1 to 4 with critical and 4 dice.
Let me ask you this, because Graham, you've been playing some clones in Striker. I'm not sure if you've been playing any clones or if you've played them before, but are you taking heavies in all of your units, or are you running a couple units that are kind of like your fire platform and just supporting that one, or 2?
I think mostly just kind of bringing the clones to be there for fire support and having like 1 extra as like thumbs, because like the list that I've been running for this round, like I've got a phase 2 in there, but mostly it's there to support and then to run away and grab like a back point or something like that if I need to.
Yeah.
But the phase 1s are mostly there just to add their dice into Anakin or the Barks or something else that is more, unfortunately, more value than the backbone of any army in clones.
So the thing that I hate is that clones have to bring phase 2 so they don't have to worry about suppression, and Empire can bring a bunch of Courage 1 because they have such cheap points of Inspire. And it's like a double whammy. It's like pay more to keep your units to have actions, or pay less and don't even worry about that because you're going to have sources of Inspire. And the clones really don't have that same ability. Like, I don't know if we're going to start seeing, what is that? What's that Inspire 2 card that came out? Inspiring Presence. Is that what it's called?
Lead by example.
Lead by example,
Yeah.
yes.
I was like, Inspiring Presence was already a card,
Yeah.
and then they decided to make a card that gave Inspire.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, but you're still paying a premium. Somebody's got to bring that for you to get efficiency, I feel, out of the phase 1s. So I don't really love that.
I mean, the fire support is a nice way to get around the courage issue.
It's a terrible rule that needs nerfed immediately, but yes, it is.
That's pretty much their only way to get around it.
Yeah, it's a terrible rule. That needs to change. We're not into rules
It's-
tonight, but yeah.
Yeah. Either that or it's what the most expensive armor in the game can give you Inspire,
Yeah.
pretty much, or the second most after the AAT.
Yeah, I think they're in a bad place, but so I think we're in agreement that they definitely need to be duffed. But what are we doing to these units? Like, where are they coming down to? What's the reasonable cost? What do you think, Striker?
I think probably 5 on like the base units would be fine. for each
Hack
one
by
of them.
5
Just-
across the board.
Yeah, just for both of them, because then you're still eating up. You can't really kit clone units out anyway with the way their current upgrades are. It's tough to do that, so you can't really bring like offensive push with just regular guys. I do it all the time with my Shores, but that's because I have one upgrade for them, and that's their heavy weapon, and it's worth giving it to them because in 2 aims, walk up, shoot. You can't really do that with clones with their current price point and all of their heavies being that high, and then there's character
27
heavies
points for a Phase
crazy.
2 Z6 is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a different price than the Phase 1 version. Like, you're
Yeah.
already paying a 10-point premium to get the Phase 2. Why am I spending an extra 4 points to get the same dice pool?
Yeah.
So it begs the
Pretty
question:
much.
do we come down on the core and do we come down on their heavies?
Yes.
Like if you lost 4 points off the base cost and 4 points, let's say 4 points off the base and 2 off the heavies, are they in the ballpark of somewhat acceptable?
I think they'd be.
I think
better.
two.
I think you'd be able to.
I think
squeeze
2
in
off the Phase 1
one
heavy, but as we said, the Phase 2 Z6 needs to just be the same as the Phase 1 because it just gives you the same thing.
Yeah, I mean it's got Captain Thorn on it with the hammer, so
Yeah.
it's still a nice artwork.
You're-
But other than I don't
yeah.
think you should pay for artwork.
Yeah.
Fair.
You're paying for Captain Thorn.
I think clones would be still in the realm of fine. I wouldn't cry about it. I think that we have enough evidence right now that yes, clones win for sure. But I don't know if they're winning off the backbone of their core. I think they're winning off their force users, winning off their mission choices.
Force user.
Well,
Wookiees.
and Wookiees. But yeah, I think they're really going to start to hit the wall when they start running in and more Blizzard Force starts to show up.
Well, that's another weird thing. Why is the clone commander 20 points when the Imperial officer is 17? And it increases your courage and still gives you inspire. So I'm spending 3 points to not increase my courage because of Phase 2s, and I get reliable 1. Cool.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Yoda. Never mind. 2 Force users.
Yeah. I think the medic could come down to 18. I think the engineer could 18 points for a point of heal. I get that he's got a gun. I get it. But 18 for a heal when you can do
I've seen a couple engineers on a table. They don't last very long on the table. It's 18 points for maybe you'll use this heal,
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
a lot to dump into that.
Yep. And I think based on the fact that you're not seeing a ton of armor in clones, I wouldn't actually mind if that guy was like 14 points. Like, I think that's reasonable. I guess you got to be careful that you don't drop them too much below like the extra body. What's the extra body worth for?
10 or 13, depending on the unit.
So if the clones, I mean, put them at 14, pay the extra point, bring the heal. If you use it situationally, great, good deal for you. Yeah, I'd like to see like a 2-point cut. I think across the board.
Yeah.
I think we'll see
Yeah,
more
that-
armor when Cody
Sure.
is available, but till
Yeah.
then, things need to come down.
But I don't even think you need to leave it at a premium just because you might see more armor, have more armor, and see more engineers.
Yeah. The medic for 20 points kills me
Yeah.
every time I see it. Like, you get 1 heal, and it's 20 points. It's the most expensive medic in the game, all because you get to throw a black die.
Well, look at the math on this. Let's say you put them in a phase 2 unit. Let's call it 60. You're bringing a 20-point unit to bring you back basically 15 points.
Yep.
The droids take a 12-point unit to heal up, 25 points on a tank?
Yep.
Twice?
Yep.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. And when you take the medic, you are taking like another premium slot. But I don't think it has to come every single time at a premium price.
Agreed.
So, okay. So we're duffing this unit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Agreed. Graham, congratulations. You own a hologram sticker.
Thank you.
And your microphone's awesome. Much better. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Striker. Thank you again for calling in. Appreciate that. Next unit. All right. Thanks, guys. Next unit. Jace, 2 left. All right. Let's go
You bet.
with let's go with this guy. Let's go with Kalani. I love Kalani.
I love Kalani too.
Kalani is a little bit tough to consider because he's not that cheap.
He's not. He's really not. 100 points base, right?
I mean, really, you can just leave him base. Like, I don't upgrade him a lot. Maybe a comms relay.
Oh, yeah, I think you give him a relay. And, I mean, it's hilarious because, yeah, he's 100 points base. He's one of, like, the only person who gets 3 command slots, which some might argue is one of the best slots, and I never fill more than one of them.
I take 1 upgrade. I take 1 upgrade on this guy.
Yeah.
Leave him alone. He's great where he is.
I have to agree. Like, I think Kalani is just fine. Like, he does what he's supposed to do, and he doesn't break it.
Okay, Striker says you should drop to Sharpshooter 1. Pull up the picture for why. Oh, gotcha. It's never going to let me live it down. I don't know if I have it in here. Let me see. Did I take that photo? Did I take
Yeah,
it in
because
September?
the rock photo.
It's fine. It's fine. I like him where he is. I think
I
he's
agree.
expensive for sure.
Agreed. But he does
I
his
don't-
job for the price.
Yeah. I think his card is good because he's Courage 2, or sorry, Sharpshooter 2. I think if that card went down to Sharpshooter 1, I feel like it loses its if Overwhelming Barrage is going to stay the same with Blast,
Yeah,
he better keep
Yeah.
Sharpshooter 2.
exactly. Oh my goodness. I hate that overwhelming barrage card.
Yeah.
Hate it.
But I don't mind Orbital Strike. It doesn't have a lot of activation control. It's somewhat telegraphed, but here's why the card is so good. Kalani's reinforcements makes that card insane.
Yeah.
You cannot prep around that. You can't wait out like you could a Leia. You can't wait out like you can with overactivations. Kalani comes down. He goes in exactly the right spot. If he can see you, he's got a shot to kill you. And that's what makes it so good.
Yep.
Yep. If it wasn't for Kalani, Ion Spiders wouldn't have become menaces. Agreed. His reinforcements is great. But his reinforcements with Staps, excellent. His reinforcement with double tank,
Amazing.
exceptional. His reinforcements with deployments like Disarray, awesome. Kalani is really a good package, but if you're gonna start creeping them up over 100 for basically a support unit, because he's not that offensive.
No, he doesn't. He
His
has 2
1 to
dice.
3, yeah, it's not great. But if you creep him over that 100-point mark, I think that you start to, move away from his efficiency, and you start shining a light on generic tac droid being the better option because it would be more cost effective.
Agreed.
So, all right, James, what do you think about him? We leaving him?
I agree. We're leaving him.
Okay. Last and not least, Striker, Graham, Justice, Bernard, all got holographic stickers tonight. Congratulations. Last chance, folks, to get in on this one. Did I miss anybody? No, I think that was it. Okay,
think so.
here he is. Obi-Wan and Yoda, giving you a 2-4 on the last one. And
Do I have to talk about them together or like one at a time?
let's talk about them individually.
Okay. Which one do we want to start with?
Dealer's choice.
Okay, let's talk about Obi-Wan. He was great when it came out, but he he's felt the Legion power creep of the new lightsaber beat sticks of Yoda and Anakin coming out after him. So yeah, he needs some help, definitely. There are times where, oh man, you get Obi into combat and he just hits like a wet noodle. I mean, when you played Big J, Sean, how many turns did a unit of Wookiees survive against Obi in combat?
I forget. It was a couple rounds.
Yeah, like 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I played Justice, and Obi was a tank. Like, he was sucking everything off pikes, surrounding units. He was running him. I'm just gonna mute you, Jake. But we'll get you in. I'm just because I hear the reverb. You're good though. He was just sucking everything. Protector, Guardian, Force Barrier. Like, he's an absolute fixture. His points though, for basically being like a magnet for shots, is tough because he's not returning you on the offensive side. Yes, Ryan, that's precisely what I said. He's valuable, but is he points worthy? That's the question there. Jake, what do you think? Just on Obi specifically.
So Obi, I think his points probably should come down a few because, yeah, like you said, he's the wet noodle when he attacks. I haven't played him much. I actually joined mostly for talk on Yoda, but
Oh, you can stay for Yoda. That's good. Yeah.
oh yeah, but yeah, I think he got basically nerfed when the surge tokens got nerfed, because that's what his 3-pip, I think it was.
Yeah, his 3-pip's all about sharing a bunch of those.
Yeah, and you can't share them.
Now, keep in mind that change happened to clones in the general, like in the general context. Obi's card obviously was designed with synergies. Turn, okay. Every turn, all the time, not good. Remove one, got another. His card got gutted because of that.
Oh yeah, but as it stands now, I think we could see him go down maybe 5 points because he's 175.
Yep.
Yeah, I think 170 would be an okay spot for him. I don't think you should get the Anakin treatment of dropping down to 155. But I think 170 would be an okay spot. But
isn't he 170 already?
Yeah, he might be 170 now.
okay, so if he's 170, then bring him down to 165. Whatever the 5-point decrease is.
Obi's 170, Anakin's 155.
Yeah. And for that 15-point difference, I'm going to take Anakin every day.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So could he come to 160?
Minimum.
I don't know.
I think with Obi at 160, for 5 points less, you still take Anakin.
So there's nothing we can do to Obi. He's a lost cause at this point.
160, I think I would take Obi over Anakin. Just because of his Guardian, where you can dodge with it.
Right.
You can take those. We have a lot of which one? No, never mind. That was a bad thought.
No bad thoughts, Jake. Keep those
I was
Yeah,
thinking
like
Soriso's
the
high velocity,
Soriso's
and
the
I realized
best thing.
no, high velocity cancels out the dodges, so that doesn't make sense. But I mean, he's still immune pierce.
Yep. Soriso's the best thing keeping him it's like the only thing keeping him viable at the moment right now. But if you look at the command cards between him and Anakin's are just so much more beneficial to the army.
Right. Travis, you got any thoughts on Obi? How can we fix him?
Yeah, I've really just started playing him a few times now. Um, yeah, I haven't played any against any super meta list, so to speak. I think he, like as a unit, what he does is super solid. Um, that Guardian of the Dodges, I was running like a super dodge spam Obi-Wan with some phase twos, and so with aggressive tactics. And so it's basically running around with a bunch of Mandalorian saves, and then if a crit comes through, you just barrier that crit away, and then everyone else gets their Mando saves or dodges. And so that part's pretty good. But then, yeah, you are taking 9 activations with a list like that. And if you lose one of your naked phase ones or something else that's hanging out, it feels super bad. I've always, kind of the question I have is, Anakin came way down in points, or is down in points versus Obi-Wan. And is Obi-Wan's kit that much better than Anakin's kit in what he does for an army?
I don't think so. The thing I think about Obi is I feel like Obi players are waiting around taking as much mitigated or trying to mitigate as much damage as possible, but they're always seemingly on the back foot, always buffing everything, but you can't sort of switch that gear and go offensive. And I feel Anakin can do that. Maybe not slightly as defensive, but he can switch gears and go offensive, which can be a defense in itself. If you're taking less shots at you, that's a pretty good defense. I feel Obi doesn't have that ability. He's just there, absorb, and doesn't switch over. I'm okay. Obi goes into Magna Guard. I'm okay with that. Obi goes into Wookiees. I'm probably okay with that.
Yep.
And then Obi doesn't have he gets buried in. He's almost weaker when he's buried than he is when he's sucking everything in from your army, because you don't want your army as close as Obi is if you're already engaged, because then they're springboarding off Obi, and then they're getting crushed in melee. So I don't like where Obi is in terms of he can't switch gears. I think he's great at what he does, but he's not a two-way force user, and he's one of the more one-dimensional ones, if I would say that. I don't know if you fix that with the points alone. He might need more help.
Yeah. So, quick thought with Obi. What if they gave him defend 1 and surge to crit? So you drop the critical 2 on his lightsaber. Just give him straight surge to crit.
I mean, he's got a higher
And then
ceiling.
I am much happier with the target 1 thing. I just also wish.
Okay.
I feel like some of his command cards need to be reworked with the new clone token sharing abilities.
Oh, yeah.
Because handing out a whole bunch of surge tokens is great for 3-pip if you were ever able to use them now.
Well,
Right.
I'll tell you what happened when I played Justice. Because Obi's cards are huge, he just buffs everything. I literally didn't play with Justice for 3 turns. I just didn't. I didn't do anything. He can attest. I did nothing. Because I was like, burn through all your stuff that you need to. He's got to save some certain things for the end of the game. But it was a feels bad, and he even said, all this stuff, and he's not doing anything with it. Obi telegraphs all of that right now. And it's like, cool, you give me a couple turns where it's like, I'm not taking damage. But this is an objective game at the end of it. If he had the ability to switch gears, then I'd be like, okay, he's defensive now, and he's going to go aggro. He doesn't have that gear to switch to, ever. Just sits there.
Or maybe just I think what you were saying earlier, like with the defend 1, just overboard on his defensive tech, make it even more gross. Maybe he has protector natively or some kind of form of that, where now if he's dodging those crits,
Give
every single
him
time. That's
outmaneuver.
pretty powerful. So when he generates, 5, 6 dodges, and he's dodging all the crits, that one turn becomes really good.
Jace made a good point. I'm not sure if you heard that, Travis. Outmaneuver.
Yeah, why don't we
Yeah.
just give all of the keywords that Anakin gets through his cards just to Obi-Wan natively?
Not all of them, but just
I mean,
outmaneuver
Okay,
is
not
probably like the
relentless.
big
Charge
one,
is
I think.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need relentless.
No.
I'm still okay if he doesn't get target one because he gets so many other dodge tokens, but the way his slots work out, you always feel like you're missing out on something because you need to take situational on him for that one training slot.
Is more slots the answer?
You could give him another slot, but I just think if you just give him outmaneuver, that's a huge buff already, and honestly could be fine.
Because he has Master of the Force 1, and he is a Jedi Master and on the Council, so maybe he should get Master of the Force 2.
Well, we gave
Maybe, but the only ones that have Master of the Force 2 are Yoda and
Palpatine.
And I feel like
And
it's kind of
Dooku.
nice to keep it. Yeah, Dooku has 2 as well, doesn't he? But
we gave the Wookiee chieftain Obi's offensive dice for 100 points,
yeah,
and he's got agile, charge, duelist, like he's surge, like,
yeah.
and he's 7 health and 2 courage, and that's in a 100-point package. So you're paying a lot more for the defensive, but you didn't really like. I don't know. It's kind of that. I mean, he's early. He's super early. Maybe the easiest reworking is you just give him new command cards. I don't know if we haven't had a precedent for that, but like it's a little bit off topic. But what if that was actually a thing, where like new command cards came out, and instead of buffing and changing points and cards and this and that, you had to find new value in new command cards.
I would be okay with that.
Could they
I
do
would-
it though, without like blowing it up?
That's the tough part. How would you release that?
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's kind of
if they
like
do-
with Operative Vader whenever he came out and his 3-pip with Darkness Descends. And, it was a solid card. You get to put Vader down last and be pretty close.
Yep.
But then now it's reliable too, and that's what everyone does, just do the
Yep.
reliable too. And it's a, you weigh the cost between those two benefits. And so, yeah, I mean, I think another slew of command cards that are OB-centric, kind of
Yeah.
like the Luke cards are Luke-centric, and it doesn't maybe necessarily buff everybody else, but just makes him a good fighter. And then you have to make a choice when you play those cards.
Yeah. But if you went a little bit more offensive Obi cards, he's already inherently defensive with what he can take and what he has. I would love a card to like have that would literally solve my problem of he can't shift gears. Well, here's the card that makes him do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin powers up to be that. Maybe Obi could have a similar thing. So instead of giving him all the keywords, Jake, like you were anti-suggesting, we give him cards to power up. And if I want my Obi to do that, I can. As a possibility. Okay, we'll hit Yoda. Jace, where are we at? What are we doing to Obi?
Obi needs a buff.
Okay, so we're duffing him. All right, got it.
Yeah.
One duff beer. Okay. Yoda, same question.
I think Yoda's fine where he is. He's 200 points, but his command cards are amazing, and he can hit like a truck with the 2 attacks. And then when he attacks, he gets dodges, and then if you shoot him, he gets aimed, so he hits you harder.
Is Yoda too good?
I don't think he's too good because he's 200 points. He is expensive. and he's in the most expensive faction too, right?
Right.
Like, if he was 200 points in droids, yeah, too powerful. But he's in one where your cheapest unit is 52 points.
Right. Yeah. If he has 200 points in rebels, I would be loving it. I mean, that'd
Yes.
really ramp up all those rebels.
He'd
Jeez.
still be at 14 acts too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He's also difficult to play because he's, an expensive character, an expensive faction. But if you play him right, he can do very well. But if you play him wrong, you can be punished very easily.
I love that he's at 5 health.
Yeah,
I think
Agreed.
they did really good with that amount.
agreed.
You want to have a tendency to put him at 6. You want to sort of like threshold him, but I think the 5 is a great spot for him. The 2 objective actions a turn is a game changer. Literally a game changer.
Yeah, massive.
That's the only thing, but because it's confined to him and in that package, I can still live with that. Jake, anything? What do you think about Yoda?
Yeah, I was gonna say Yoda he's fine where he's at. Even if the clone troopers take a points reduction, I think he's still fine where he's at, because he has that high skill cap. Like you have to you have to know what he does and how to play him in certain situations. So I think the points is fine. I mean, I know he gets compared a lot to Palpatine, who's same cost and has
Palpatine's
the
10 points
same.
cheaper now.
Is he at 190 now?
Palpatine's 190, yeah. Yoda is
Okay.
the top by himself.
Okay. For some reason I thought they're both still at 200, but
No, Palp got nerfed
I
down
mean,
to
I know.
10.
Okay. Because I know a lot of people are comparing the 3 pips all off.
Yeah, the 3 pip is kind of sucks for Palp.
Yeah, and I mean, the easy fix is just to change up Palpatine's, and leave him alone. But we're not. But when you bring Yoda, at least for me, I hardly use any other command cards other than his.
Yep.
But when he's getting shot at, it's usually with large dice pools, and he can die quick if you leave him out. Because he's only at the 5, and I think that 5, like you're saying, Sean, is the perfect spot for him. Because if you put him at 6, or start keeping him up, he starts getting in that unkillable territory. So, like right now where he's at, I think for his kit, he's just fine. Maybe you could nerf him by 5 points if all the clones change, but I say leave him.
And he's inherently buried in like 9-act armies. Maybe even 8. And I think the ability to press the act advantage makes Yoda players have to be a little bit more, I think, reserved with him. If he's in a 10-act army, you're first lasting with Yoda, you feel great. You can't do it in an 8 and a 9-act army. Well, you can do it, but there's still going to be maybe some inherent risk with that. So, yeah, Justice says he's running him in an 8-act army and doing well. I don't think that he's not good in those armies. I'm just saying that if he was in a 10-act army, it would almost be like a super buff for him. Like, he just goes last, he springs out, he does his thing, he bursts, he does all the things, he does all the actions, he recovers. He's a cannonball at that point, and he can do that.
Yep.
But yep.
I think Yoda's one of those characters too that wants to either go sometimes first, sometimes middle, depending on the command card you're playing. If you're taking barrier and you've barriered somebody and you're already speed 1 this turn and you're just moving up, you're going to want to refresh that barrier and maybe even force reflexes depending on how you run them to get that extra dodge on his 3-pit. So I mean, there's like Luke always wants to go last. That's kind of Luke's thing, is getting in there, going last. But Yoda, I feel like he can either go first, middle, or last depending on where your army is.
I think Obi falls into that category too. I think Obi's okay to be sort of middle of the road. Yep. No, for sure. Okay, well, that was two softballs there with Obi and Yoda. No disagreements at all. Jace, what are you thinking?
Well, also,
go ahead. Jace.
Remember, 11 Act Yoda did just win the French Nationals. So.
Yep.
And I think a 10 Act went second at that World's qualifier at Golden State Games in California. So.
Yep.
I think Yoda's fine.
Okay, we're check marking him. Okay, cool. So just running this down. Magnus, which I play, NERF. Spiders, good. Truck, playing NERF. Pikes, playing NERF. Okay, got it. Kalani, check. Clones, duffing them. Basically clones across the board. Heavy response units, definite NERF. Probably the hardest NERF for me. Pikes, I get it. I just think pikes in every faction is weird, but that's the biggest thing right there. So I don't know how you limit it though. It's kind of like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Truck, I'm okay with that. Put it up. It's still fine. It's still gonna be cheap. Spiders, I think, are okay. Kalani, great. I think they got Kalani right. In general, I love all that super. That super tack box for me, one of the best releases ever. As a CIS player, but I think just in general, done right. Ryan's wondering, why do HRUs need a nerf? I don't. First off, you build a Blizzard Force without any. So there's that. Secondly, they're too cheap. Way too cheap. Unhindered is unreal.
Yeah, they need to lose unhindered or go to speed 1.
Travis, have you played against Blizzard Force yet?
Yeah, I have not personally played against it, but I've seen it on tables next to me, and
those things are OP.
One of our local events, there was a guy who ran out of suppression in his bag of suppression. And you never run out of tokens in Legion because there's so many.
Yeah.
And so he ran out of suppression. He actually dropped out of the tournament after that just because it was just so tilting when you have 30 suppression on the table with 40. So.
Wow.
Yeah, ain't no poser, 74 points. That's the problem. You missed the show. We did a comparison to other armies units at 74 points, and they are objectively better.
This is why you can't get a holographic sticker.
Yeah.
You did not do A+ work tonight, Ryan. Not A+ work. Jake, you get a sticker. Travis, you get a sticker.
Oh, thanks. Real quick, hitching on to the HRU nerf, they get essentially the same dice pool as a dewback, but at range 4.
Yeah.
You can take 2 in the list. Right.
Well, he's saying you can only take it in Blizzard Force, which is pretty much most of the Empire people run now.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know the last time I've seen an Empire list that, well, maybe with Boba, I guess there's still some people, and maybe some Din starting to emerge, but there's a lot of Blizzard Force. Yep. Stop crying. Fair. Anthony will talk about his game, but he had a very rough going against Blizzard Force. Exceptionally rough. So, and Travis has pointed out that somebody literally quit a tournament after facing it. So, I don't think it's 100% fine. I think it's a good list for sure. I think it's exploitive for sure. I think the bikes, if you have the proper list to receive them, I think you could break that list. But you have to play pretty tight against it. And you have to have a game plan for sure. Double bounty. I think bounty is going up in stock for sure. But I also think as a result of that, bids are going to go up too. Because people are going to mitigate the giving up bounty points by their deck and what they can control in those missions. For sure.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Seeing that at tournaments is whenever they did the change to blue red player, bids like went away for a minute, and now it's like you got these highly specific lists with Blizzard Force, Double Bounty that really need their battle deck, and they're going 10, 12, 18, 22 point bids.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: who suffers out again in that? Clones. Yeah, they can't take 22 point bids. Yep. They're like, look at me, I'm flexing with a 2-point bid. But yeah, so they're suffering hard, right? You got 8 activation lists, 9 activation lists, not playing their objective deck, not taking bids, suffering hard. Ryan, do you even Legion, bro? Hey, 22 point bids, 18 point bids, 13, 15, 16, they're there, man.
Yeah.
Oh
They're
yeah,
there.
easy.
Only at major tournaments you have to go to those and pay attention to them. So
Yeah, I have a what do I have, a 13 point bid right now, 12 point bid in my list, and I think I'm outbid in 3 games in the league list. Like, it's just, yeah, Canadian Bear 9 act 15 points right now. I think he's flexing hard with clones. Yeah,
ooh.
yeah. Justice has a 9-point
I
bid.
was going to say that Yoda 11 act list was a 23-point bid.
Because he has to
But
be. Because it
that's
has
a
to be.
complete outlier.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, do clones do? Yes, technically, yes, they can afford it. But is that what you want to be as a clone player, needing to be 23 points deep? I don't think so. It's
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I can't wait for a points update. I don't know when it's coming. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be great to go back and look at all the people doing hypothetical points pieces. So, hey Travis, I didn't forget you sent a list too. I was gonna do that one on one of our Make It Betters if you're cool with that.
Oh yeah, sure. That was that's that Obi-Wan list that I ran a couple times. So
Okay, fair enough. We'll put that in there. All right, boys. How do we stretch that out on that? Probably because I talk so dang slow tonight. So we'll get you guys the holographic stickers. So make sure you guys hit me up on the Discord. So Jake, Travis, Striker, Canadian Bear, who else we had here? Justice and Bernard. So just send me a Discord message just so I don't forget. I'll get you guys the stickers. They're cool. We'll do the giveaway. We have that giveaway running. So that's standing for our donators. Like I said, every donation's tripled up right now, so which is fantastic. That's insane. So thanks Anonymous and Stan for that. And we will not see you Friday. I'll play my league game though. Maybe we'll live stream. Who knows? And then we'll catch you guys on Tuesday next week. We'll get in there. Maybe we'll have another drop. And just quick final point. Yes or no questions. Jake, Shatterpoint. You in?
I will probably get into it. I'm liking some of the stuff that I see. As things have settled, starter box looks good. But we'll have to see money.
But we haven't seen the price.
Yes. My guess is it's either going to be 100 or 200. No in
What's
between.
MCP's starter set price?
100.
Travis, same question.
it's gonna be a hard no for me. I mean, I actually like a lot of the people who don't have lightsabers in Star Wars and
Me too.
the lists, and
Yeah.
so there's an old school Battlefront 1 honest trailers about him talking about getting 2 heroes and bashing them together like toys when you're a kid. That's kind of how I feel Shatterpoint's going to be like.
Right. I think it's gonna fill and scratch that itch that lots of people have that they don't find currently in Legion.
Yep.
And then for guys like me, we're like, I like armies. I like to have. I want to
Yes.
see the battlefield. I'm good with that. And I like skirmish. So if I want to go shrink the game down in Legion and play, I've heard a lot of people play like, I want to play fast Legion, quick games. Man, Jason, I can crank out 3 games of skirmish in an hour and a half, easy. Like
Yeah.
it's quick. So that's my quick Legion, and then regular Legion is full Legion, and then I don't need another game to scratch that. That's for me. I appreciate all the intake, all the insight though. I think people are gonna like it. I think the models are gonna be fun for people who like to paint. That bigger canvas, for me, that's just more gray to look at. So, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'll keep the small gray.
Hopefully, it's just a bunch of spoilers for what's coming out in Legion in the future. That's what I'm hoping.
And if one inspires the other, have at it. I'm all good for it. So, cool. Awesome. All right,
I'm
guys.
hoping that I use it as a springboard. I'm hoping it's a springboard for my kids to kind of get into it since
Yeah.
they're 7 and 5 right now. And with moving to a new area that I know nothing about right now, here in the next year, I think it would be a good spot for me and the kids. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now with that.
Yeah, there's too many pointy bits for us to do that on stream because Jace would have all those lightsabers broke off in like a second. So
You bet.
yeah, he can only play Black Suns for now. Everything big and bulky. That's it. That's all we let him play with now. So yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate that. Everybody else for coming on. We'll catch you guys next week on the show, and have fun on your league games if you're playing them. And we'll catch you in the next stream. Cheers. All right, Jace, we'll jump back in and we'll end up in our booth there. Cool.
You bet.
All right, well, there we go. Jeez, we logged a pretty good episode there. It was a good
Oh yeah.
good chat tonight. So I wish I could have spoke a bit more clear, but good conversation. I liked the big board. I wouldn't mind visiting that for different topics in the future. So
Agreed.
I think when we do eventually get a points upgrade, I think we could do a little report card on like, did we like it? Did we not like it? Did they get it right? Did they get it wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
That would be cool. Yeah, looking forward to that. So, all right. Well, I'll let you go, Jason, to go eat some supper and do the things, and we'll chat
Sounds
to
good.
you. We'll chat to you next week.
You bet.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.